Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and for those who had the vision and who had the commitment to make this happen, is going to have huge impact in our lives, inshallah, on Islam in this country in the long run, and become a sadaqah. Your commitment and your hours and days that you spend, you take time off, you spend your weekends here, will be a sadaqah jariyah for yourself and for your future generations, inshallah. The term human resource, as soon as you mention human resource, mind drifts towards personnel files and recruitments and employment contracts and running to hiring and firing people, and of course inevitably industrial tribunals as well, perhaps, and some glamorous training events which HR departments send people to and tick the boxes. If that's what you're expecting me to cover today, I'm sorry to disappoint you, because I'll not be talking about any of those issues or topics. But I very much understand what perhaps you are looking for and have in mind in terms of human resource. But HR, the term HR is really not very appealing and inspiring, and could have perhaps helped to keep few people away today from this event, had they seen the program that you have got HR, one of the most boring topics to be covered by perhaps a boring speaker like myself. That would have been a double blow really for many people. So let's move away from that as soon as possible. I think what we want to talk about is people, our human beings. What we want to talk about is our lives, our living and our dying, and our hours and our days and our years. The person. And I think person is, of course, vitally, fundamentally the most important thing. And that's something we need to understand. Not just ourselves here, but every human being that we come into contact with, every human being who lives on this earth is a concern for us and for ourselves. We will be questioned about humanity. We have been brought out, as Quran says, kuntum ukhrijat linnas. We have been brought out for mankind, not for our ethnic group, not for our ummah for that matter, not for our community. Individual is the most fundamental building block for anything that we intend to wish to do. I was sitting and reading our motto and our vision here, and it of course talks about society. It talks about towards a just and balanced society. It talks about a role model society. But the society will not stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the Day of Judgment to answer for ourselves. Even SLIF will not exist on the Day of Judgment. Jamaat ends its life on this earth. You can be a very successful SLIF leader, for that matter, and may Allah forbid not successful on the Day of Judgment. SLIF may achieve its objectives to great extent, but the people who worked for it may not achieve their goal of being successful on the Day of Judgment, because I'm sure we've all read the hadith how an alim will be brought, how a shaheed will be brought on the Day of Judgment, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would say, you did so that you may achieve honor in the eyes of the people. People may call you that you are such a generous person, that you gave all your wealth in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but not to seek my pleasure. Or you gave your life so that people may call you brave and courageous, and therefore these people would not achieve their goal, which was to achieve Jannah. At the end of the day, getting an individual to Jannah, to achieve Allah's pleasure, is really the ultimate goal of any and everything that we do. Ultimate goal of the organization, ultimate goal of Islamic State, if I could use the term here today. Let's not shy away, because just because some mad people have hijacked the term. Mad people have the tendency to hijack family honor, family name, national honor. You can get Hitler from Germany. Does not mean that we cease to say we are German. So let's not run away from the terms, for now at least in this gathering, because and in other gatherings I could perhaps also explain. But maybe that's also a term that maybe have run out of its usage, and we need to find new terms. All these things are vehicles. Vehicles are there to do what? To help human beings to achieve their most important one single personal goal. And that is that their creator who created them put them on this earth for a very short temporary period. That human being achieves his goal of eternal success and pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and reach Jannah. And that's why Islamic society, Islamic government, if you want to use the term, or organization, madaris, ulama, the whole infrastructure has that as its ultimate goal. As that is a very important point to remember, that we do not lose sight of it, because then we can focus everything towards that. We can measure our success in terms of whether our organization is helping people to get closer to that vision and that goal. How do we do that? We do that through the term we use in Arabic, tazkiyah, purification. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ تَزَكَّى. Very simple. That one who has purified has achieved falah, both in this life and the life to come, has become successful. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا. One who is purified his inner self, soul and nafs has achieved that. So therefore, tazkiyah is the process through which we achieve. Tazkiyah enables us to achieve taqwa, of course, enables us to achieve the quality of ibadah in our life, and enables us to achieve the quality of ihsan, of excelling, of seeking higher and higher reward, and higher quality in our living and our dying in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So people is the key, and everything is devoted to people. As we live through this 21st century, and many challenges which Dr. Abdul Bari quite eloquently highlighted for us that we face. We do face, as Muslim community in this country or anywhere in the world today, some very big challenges. In some places even existential challenges perhaps. But at the end of the day, more you dig deep into the Quran and the history of this da'wah, from the time of Adam alayhi salam, you would find that there's nothing exceptional about these circumstances. Nothing that is unprecedented about our circumstances. In fact, the stories of the struggles of the Anbiya, which have been captured for us meticulously and in detail, documented for us in the book of Hidayah, is for that reason. That when we face situations like the one we face, we know exactly where we start, what is this journey about, and where does it end. And where does it end? Al-aqibatu lil-muttaqin. The end belongs to the God conscious. There's nothing that Allah has given us today which is there to fail us. Okay? So I think when we develop human resources in the 21st century, we need to look at challenges positively to start things off with. Because individuals who see these struggles and in the challenges, opportunities, are the ones that will win through and achieve that pleasure from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and their success. Otherwise, despondency can creep in, escaping from the real issues can creep in, narrowing the focus of Islam can creep in, and therefore what we do is we leave the world stage. We are no longer relevant to the struggle of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then His sunnah, يَسْتَبْدِلْ قَوْمًا غَيْرَكُمْ, applies. Why don't you leave your houses, your homes? If you don't leave, as in Surah Tawbah we hear that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's very simple for Him. He replaces those people with another people, as He's done for thousands of years with new nations which have come to the fore. So the prerequisite is, first and foremost, as I said, is looking at the challenges, looking at the difficulties as what Allah has created for us to succeed. There's nothing that Allah has given, and also Allah has given every individual for his ultimate goal, everything that that individual needs, man, woman, child, to be successful, achieve that goal. No matter where you are, whatever the difficulties are, we can do things. We can just very quietly reflect and find that action which will, in that situation, please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and take us forward in this life and the life to come. That is the point. That there is a strategy there. There is an action there to be done. It may require giving one's life. It may require giving one's wealth, one's time, forgiving someone you're very angry with, overcoming our egos, our desires, temptations. It may require something, but there is an action there. And this is what that person or a group of people need to work out, what that action is, which achieves the rada of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in that situation. It could be simply sabr, it could be istiqamah, it could be tawakkul, and trusting in Allah, and starting without resources perhaps, doing things that needs to be done. And you move forward, you take that one step. If you can't take full step, you take half a step, and you find Allah runs towards us, enable us to walk, and then enables us to run, and things grow. So this is what we call the manifestation of Iman, as it were. Because Iman is the opposite of Iman is, of course, shaitan, whose ultimate symbol is Iblis, as we know, and we know that term means one who lost hope. And I see despondency quite a lot in organizations, amongst people, and you feel that we are in for difficult times and maybe there is no future for us. That is something that we need to replace. When Prophet ﷺ and Sahaba were sitting with nothing in Mecca, they were thinking of Qaisar and Kisra. They were thinking of saying, responding to the kalama and the world lying under their feet. And they witnessed that. When he was, even after 13 years of his struggle, acquiring from having all the honor and the title of being being who he was in Mecca, he was leaving with just one companion for his life. That was the situation after 13 years of struggle. But we know what happens in the next 9 years of that struggle. So that